Yeah, it's just a wee bit. Um, hold up. Is my audio not coming through on stream? There's no way, right? There's no way. Audio's gotta be getting captured. We're just gonna do a quick little double test. Um, I also don't have my chat set up in a way that I prefer to have it set up, so we're just gonna, check it out. Make sure you can hear the audio. Yep, okay. So audio's there. We're good. Okay. Let's roll with this pumps. It's your boy Repreach here, and today we're gonna be doing things a little different. I'm back. I'm at a hotel right now. Uh, haven't gone back to class yet because I have exams. Spook me on Sunday. I thought I only had three. That's the reason why I thought I'd be able to stream. I thought I'd be able to do a lot more, but those last two kind of, yeah. So getting another a couple hours into my schedule just sucked. So we did it though. We did it. So let's open up in the deck editor. Let's open up the deck I actually took in the end. So it was kind of a coin toss, and I went and consulted my dudes. What do they thought would be the best deck to take? You think it probably would be this? No, no, lads. It was not that. And it wasn't the White Hair Wins V3 either. Instead, instead of either of these, it was a little in between. I would love to keep this going in this, but that's not gonna happen. So let's just open up the stuff on Encore decks. Because I do have it posted on Encore, and I'll open up Twitch while I'm at it. Sorry, x.com. And we'll find my page and we'll show it to everybody here. Get some funds. Do. Okay, so just change the screen capture. I love how it's doing that for y'all. Yeah, we don't need a song name. Or maybe we do. So we're just gonna ignore that for a second, and then I'll do a little bit of funny. Yeah, of course that's the thing. Turn on that. And it's not gonna is it? Maybe? I never remember what I posted. Nope. Okay, so this is actually the deck. I brewed it up last minute. Um, if we look at my decks, you can see there was two things I cooked up right before the thing happened. There was Gritty Bar V3, which, I wanted to bring this. It was a coin flip. It was either going to be this or it was going to be the other list, which this list, if you look, split it. Good, you guys can't see everything. Close out that. My screen's not getting captured. It's just the window. Oh no. We gotta change that for y'all. We gotta modify how this all works for everybody else so we actually get something going. Oh, and the VC face is doing funny. Uh, okay, just get rid of all that. And that should fix. Yep. Okay, so that part's fixed. The other thing that needs to get fixed is screen capture. We're actually just going to change it to the full-on source so that y'all see what I see. Oh no, it's the dials behind everything. Ah. Okay. So now we can pull these up side by side. This is kind of a bit of a rush stream. And again, like I said, I had 5 exams. There was the regional last week, and yeah, so not everything went the way I'd want it to go. So off the bat, you can see two of these, three of these mirrored in that aspect. You can also see two. There's one of the Aleph girls. There's no Aleph in this deck. That's the pretty much big difference in the base of the deck is this one contains Aleph, because the Aleph card, if we find out, The display picture has this effect of the reshuffle to, and they can side without decreasing. That we don't care about that. That side without decreasing, useless. We don't care. Like, okay, let me correct myself. It's useful, but it wasn't the reason for running the deck. The reason for running the deck was the factor of just the fact you can shuffle back to. Because there was a lot of refresh game states where we'd have to refresh to shuffle some stuff back in, or we'd refresh mid attack because we dig so deep with the level 1 combo that I didn't feel comfortable with it. Having a combo that fails so often in its entirety did not feel good. The deck was built to be able to run it. It was built to actually be able to slay somebody instant that they hit 3. Great. Intelligent decisions, intelligent moves, burn 2, burn 3, and then kill them. I'm fine with that strat. I am 100% fine with that because hitting for 7 like a truck is just going to win. The thing I did not like about that strategy rolling in was generating the advantage was just too risky for an on reverse. It could fail, and it was an on reverse. So that's 3 different levels of fail. You can fail to get the card off the top because deck state might not fit for it, or you might not do the thing naturally. You could also be out of waiting room because you refreshed at 1 before doing this thing because your deck state was SOL or you didn't have cards in deck to keep a bin in between. So then you'd have to brainstorm. And that's a whole bunch of resources just to generate the ability to do the thing. And that's a whole bunch of chances to whiff in between. I love the combo. I love origami, but that's just too much. Just too much chances to fail. So as much as my mind was like, I literally built this deck for weeks. This is the goal. This is the idea. This is what we want to do. We want to swing in for 7s. We want to have the stock out the wazoo to be able to choose to burn or do something else if we need to be. I didn't want to. I didn't want to. I didn't, this Aleph solves the problems, but it doesn't repair everything in the issues. Slotting 1 card in doesn't fix it all. And you just got to know that. It helps for emergency situations. That's the reason why we have one of these, the reason why we have one of these, and then run 2 of these in this. And one of these, there's a reason why there's a whole bunch of one ofs in the list. It doesn't mean that you're always going to have it when you're in that situation. You're just saying exception to the screw case. So now we're in that category. Now we're in that category. Now we can go into this category. Okay. So, major difference, right? They both have deprived answer. That was the renovation for the build. This card, I kept running into situations where trying to answer standby with this or early play with this wasn't good enough because they would hit the level. They'd hit the level and then it wouldn't matter. So I needed more solid counterplay. I needed more universal counterplay. I needed something that could just answer back row hexproof cards just straight up, just say yeah, no, or deal with markers, because even though markers really isn't a thing, it still is nice to just say to your opponent, I'm going to pay 2 to make you pick it back up. Maybe pay out some stock for something, but it's not card disadvantage. You're not sacrificing 2 and paying to be able to do that effect. You're not free. You're not pitching 2 more cards in addition. For a total of 3 cards down, potentially not even winning the fight. And that's in the case that they actually have a card at the top of their clock for you to send to waiting or this effect to work as well. There's a lot of variance. This is a catch, it is powerful as hell. You can't just pay to save it. But just saying on your turn, having an active way of dismantling your opponent's backups, any of that, good, even free lane, like let's say it's not an early play, let's just say it's cats. This actually popped up in the match against cats where just bouncing one of their girls to then beating on the other 2 mattered. Turning 2 girls into normal whatever the cats are at base mattered a lot. It let us actually do the level 1 game, which goes into this factor of why this list was kind of a thought process for the brew for the better, and why I decided on it in the end. All right, do yet again another one of these little screens, yeah, so that way I can keep y'all focused. So we stayed on this list for simple reasons. So I can actually log into X, Y, y'all can kind of soak in on this. Whoop, wrong one. Boop, 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 boop. So this way you can kind of sink in on what this list is. I'm gonna do this little. So, yeah, y'all can't see it. Hmm, interesting. It's not letting me see it. I'm just not gonna try continuing this. I'll just pull it up on my phone, the original thing, and then I can walk y'all through it. Because that just seems way simpler than having to re-scribble everything in. So, yeah, let's zoom in just a little bit. Okay, so we still have the bounce answer plus, a buff, which that's irrelevant for the most part. We barely run any Kurumis, and most of them don't swing. There's, and you might be thinking, are Toppin's Hibiki? Nope, doesn't say Hibiki. It says Lucifungus Queen. No Hibiki in name. No Hibiki in name. No buff from Hibiki in name. This deck's also on an early play, which somewhat mattered in a match. Didn't really, but it could have. Yeah. So let's start walking y'all through the tournament. So, I get there, I'm happy, I'm excited, I am ecstatic out of my mind. Whew. Yeah. I woke up early at 6 o'clock in the morning, assembled the deck, left the hotel, got it together, boom, did it all. Got there just in time, crazily enough, because uh I slept in a little. Like I said, I woke up at 6:30. I was planning on waking up at 6. Put the deck, sleeved it all up. I bought a pair of sleeves the night before. Um, got it all good. So, deck is good to go. Round one, I am so hyped. I am so nervous. Judges every single round, they're calling result mulligans. And then on the count of three, two, one, let let's Weiss or whatever. I can't remember that exact detail. I think it was just they were looking for a yeah out of us all, encouragement, energy, all that. They kind of quit on it later rounds because people drop. It's just natural factor of these tournaments. People drop with if they're not doing extremely hot because they're trying to make worlds. They're trying to make worlds, and if they can't make worlds, they don't want to be there anymore. Fair enough. My opinion on any tournament is if you show up there and you're planning on having a chance of losing, but you better not go out negative. If you show up, it's better just to try your shot, you know, try to carry it all the way through, which you need to know this mentality because if you saw the Twitter post, things did not go extremely well for me. So, noting that fact, we get into, we get into the funner parts of stuff. Round one happens, they say resolve mulligans, but stay there. Post mulligan state. So I get into a post mulligan state against a deck I think everyone is going to know extremely well. So well, in fact, I don't even need to type in the name of it. I can just type in the nickname. Competitive goats. Run into goats. I know I'm running against goats because it's simple. He drops one of the climaxes off the rip. He drops a climax off the rip, and he drops some other minute stuff. I'm pretty sure he drops the level 2 as well. So I know what he's on. I start now talking smack because I know what he's on. And, not the greatest move from your boy Repreach here, not gonna lie. Probably a bad moment for Re, right? Probably like something I really got to contain within myself. I don't know how I came off at my opponent. I probably sounded way more arrogant than I intended to because I was so excited. I was so happy. I was so overstatic at this fact that, hey, I'm playing goats. What did we plan for, boys? We planned to beat goats. We planned, and I told that man, dude, you're screwed. We planned for this stuff. We are ready to beat you. I didn't say we. I said I am ready to beat, but I told him, hey, you're just gonna see it. You're gonna see all the cards. You're gonna see it, and you're just gonna have to like just sit there, bro. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you're gonna have this terrible game. I was literally apologizing to the man, like this game's just not gonna go well for you. I'm sorry that you have to sit through this. Which that sounds cocky as hell until we got into the match. By the time he had saw the Katori level 1, he knew he was messed up. He had seen that we had an early play. He had seen the other early play. He saw us discard the level 1 early play. He saw us find the Miku in our end game along with a second Lucifungus Queen. And then at that end game stage, we had the option to either just Miku him to death or Lucifungus Queen him to death. Because he didn't get the goats, though. Because he didn't get the goats, we went like, why am I wasting a Miku on him? He doesn't have goats. He went for the burn one because he didn't want to get anti-early inside it. So he just played the queen. We just played the queen and smacked him to butt. He ate straight 10 damage off of 2 decompresses, and we felt like God. Oh my gosh, sticking straight 10 on your opponent in a compressed. Whoop. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, boys. Um, hit the shelf on the desk here. We felt so, so, so good. It was amazing. It was epic. Just being able to go, yeah, yeah, you're eating straight up 10 damage. Straight 10. Because we decided we know you have one in. We know you have one in out of 20. Let's up that number by a lot. And we're just going to punish you for that. We are going to straight up punish you for having that low. I mean, we even had the chance to stock swap him on top of it all. We had the whole game in the palm of our hands. And that's just the way that we planned the matchup. We hit him from the level 1 if he wants to try early playing first before we hit level 2, so he's safe. Nope. No choice. If he wants to try hitting us at level 2 with the early play, nope. No choice. You don't have hexproof on your turn. It's on my turn. Um, so, he was just screwed. And then the Miku to back it up to say, hey, if you do want to try to do this stuff, now that you are actually level 3, go for it. Try. Try to set it up. We will say no. So, literally, the question that we were asking at the point that we were level 1 is, can he kill me? Like, straight up, could he kill me? Is there a way he physically could do enough damage to kill me before I kill him? The answer was no. No. And the answer was no. Was I able to kill him the next turn? No. Um, but I was able to use Basic Realizer to hold us into the game, which card was clutch, dude. Card was clutch in a couple different matchups. In a couple different ones, though, it was also booty. It was also just straight booty. There wasn't really too much we could do. So that's round 1. Round 1, we are hyped out of the world. We are feeling like king. We are feeling great, but we're keeping it level headed, we're keeping it calm, cool, and, somewhat. I mean, I'm being honest with my opponents. I'm being curt, a little bit. And I'm being straightforward with them saying, hey, good games. That's nuts. I'm sorry that you played me, It's just, I literally was playing for this matchup. I expected this thing, and you just got kind of screwed. It's just bad matchup for you, bro. There's not really too much you can do here because the whole matchup is literally overshadowed by all the planning I have for your deck. If you won, that would be a massive upset. I would be like toasted out of my mind, like, yeah, that shouldn't happen. So that was round 1. Round two is the kind of a more fairly unreasonable deck to see. We see wrong series. It's Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. We see Dragon Maid, and you can probably imagine what kind of Dragon Maid it is. It's 8-bar Dragon Maid, list isn't, too unique. He does, yeah, this is pretty much the list. With even this top end, yep. Which we actually lose this match, because we are a compressed deck. We canceled a lot, but he didn't need to stick too much. It was a fair end game. Our decompressions, all three of them, we did 3 laner combo. We didn't want to pay the stock to be able to hold up the anti soul backup because we did have it. So we didn't pay out stock to burn him for twos. He had 2 climaxes back in his deck out of like I assumed was 10 cards, but I didn't count. It was like 7, so it mattered. Um, he did not eat damage because he canceled in the middle of it. We then decompressed 2 again. He canceled, and then he canceled after the refresh. So it was kind of we were, yeah, we were SOL. I think. That last attack might not have been another refresh. It might have just been a poke. So we would have the third stock to be able to manage things because we were clean on stock after that attack. And it actually was funny because he couldn't stock swap us because we were low on stock the turn that he wanted to do it to us. But it was a close game. We just accidentally pushed him up. We expected him to cancel the last one as well, I think, after refreshing in with a very compressed deck state. Um, so it's just, doesn't always work out the way you want. So yeah. Um, Now that leaves, and I wasn't feeling upset about this match. I'm like, okay, I wasn't planned for this. I wasn't prepped for this. I didn't really think about this matchup, so I'm fine losing with it to a close game. So that was round 2. Round 3 happened. After round 3, I wanted to go hug somebody because round 3, round 3. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Round 3. Round 3. Round 3, dudes. Round 3. Round 3. Oh, there was joy in round 3. There was absolute joy. I think this was just about the list we played. It was 8 Pants Slime. Let me see if I hit tournament. We're just gonna go with whatever is a more recent list that seems pretty close. With 8 Pants. Right. So, opponent was able to assemble full front Benny Maru combo. The issue is with the full front Benny Maru combo is we were at level 1-3. We were 1-3, dudes. We were 1-3. We walked in with the smack of telling our opponent, hey, um, yeah, we planned to be better you when we built this deck. Whenever I said something to my opponent that day, it became the forecast. It became the prediction of what was going to go down. It was like I was literally predicting the future. Whatever I said became law, and this is going to matter for not the next matchup, but the one after it. I told him walking in, resolving mulligans because I see he's on slime, he sees I'm a data life, he's questioning what the hell is this data life build that I'm on. Because I'm pretty sure in this matchup he sees me drop the top end bar combo um off the mulligan, and I tell him I'm trying to be better you because of our favorite little friend Yoshino, the girl that we must protect the lolly. Because of the girl we must protect, she protected us. For 3 turns, lads. For 3 turns. We stayed at level 1-3. Exactly level 1-3. Because all 3 of his attacks for those turns went to nothing. They canceled. Now you're probably wondering, not seeing this card and not reading it, how did we stay there? Because we refreshed. Because we were still exactly 1-3. We didn't clock because for 2 turns in a row, we went triple lane Katori because they just killed themselves on swing. We just let them kill themselves on swing, generated massive card advantage. Because we weren't winning on board if they were pushed up a level. Let's just be honest. That's not how White Schwartz works. it's not how it should work if you're generating massive card advantage. So we just, swung with them and we just did drop searches and refreshed. We just refreshed. We just we just refreshed again and again, and we used brainstorms as well, of course, to be able to find them again. We used the brainstorm. In fact, we had cards in hand to keep digging, to reassemble it, and to make sure that this was a fair thing to do. And we were just chilling. We literally just chilled for almost the entire game. Opponents was literally just struggling to deal any damage to us. And, he eventually knocked us up to 2-6, and then we clocked, and then we just killed him. Because Lucifungus does that to things. It does that to things. So that was round 3. Round 3 coming out amazingly hyped. We literally, we came in with 2 plans. We built like slime to be absolutely compressed because people are talking about ban slime, ban slime, ban slime. And we planned to beat Overlord because Overlord kind of cracked. And we did both. We beat Overlord, we beat slime. We were feeling top of the moon. We were going like, if we see this all day, we are going to the top. That was the last time we saw a good matchup. Okay, so round 4 now. So that's round 3. Round 4. Round 4 is where things take the ugly. Round 4. Round 4 comes into a matchup we kind of prepared for, but weren't directly prepared for. And understand, I didn't study this deck because I didn't think it was going to be important. Most of y'all will know this series. Ruby. Ruby. We can actually probably type that in, and then we'll see 8 standby. Bingo! So, Ruby, Inked Standby, that is what we play. We've never played Ruby 8 Standby before. Never in our lives. Match goes fairly okay throughout most of it, where we kind of are pushing him, he's pushing us back a little too hard for our appreciation. We end up at 2-6 early. So at 2-6, I realize we have an option. We have an option to clock and go to 3 while he's at 2, I think 3, and try to kill him with 1 climax combo. And I think that's not realistic. And the turn prior, he had early played standby out a level 3 laner. And I realized we didn't have enough resources to be able to double lane combo efficiently and answer that. So we decided not to answer that at that turn because we also had the girl, the savior, whole reason why we kind of felt good, comfortable running this list. That arrived answer Krumi. We had one in hand just to bounce it. Instead of having to pay 3 to get rid of a threat, we went like, just pay 1. Just pay 1 less. Pay 1 less and don't get rid of cards. Just keep them. So that's what we did, is we kept the cards. And for that factor, because we kept this, he literally told us after the match, we dodged the trap. He wanted me to waste my anti-early play on this and then come back and clock me to death with everything he had. Against the standby tech, trying to make them waste stock is pretty darn good. So that's what we did. We bounced it, and then we just generated some stock. And unfortunately, we put him just to 3. We put him up there to 3-3, I think. Because he just didn't cancel. And it was crazy because he was in a compressed deck state. He was like a 6 in out of 20 or something very, very tight. And he just didn't cancel. That was a shock. Then he proceeded to refresh his deck state off of a couple brainstormers and solve his hand into the combo. And at which point, we just ate straight 9. We just ate straight 9 damage, which sucked. It straight up sucked. We just ate 9 damage and died. But, talking to him, he also agreed that, hey, you weren't ready to go in for it. If you don't think you're comfortable being able to manage the kill, I understand we would have dug 2 cards deeper, but I didn't feel comfortable putting myself up another 1 damage when we were particularly supposed to be stable. And he agreed, like, that was probably the move. You bouncing it was the good decision, because that was a bait. but you answered it in a fair way that still was able to generate you a turn and potentially give you there. If you didn't accidentally send me to 3, would have gotten there, or if you had canceled a single point of damage, you would have been alive. So, and I didn't cancel any of the damage because the Ruby combo just kind of says eat 2. Is it this one? It's this one. Um, Not this one. It's this girl. Rest this. And just boop, send your thing. If you do, deal 3 damage to your opponent, choose 1 level 3 or lower kick. Facing it, put it into your opponent's block. So, we ate the damage on this. Or no, we canceled the burn. I think, right? He did way more than he should have. I think. No, 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 no. That is how it works. Yeah, that is how it works. Which is nuts. That's nuts. But anyways, we just ate basically a little bit too much more damage than we should have. Yet again, compressed deck state. So we should have been fine, but we weren't. We had like 9 cards in stock, and we're like 20 cards out or something like that. So, it's kind of like, okay, things didn't go right. Things went a little weird. That's fine. Move on. We played it perfectly according to all counts. Um, but then that leads us into round 5. Round 5 was gross. Round 5 was gross. Round 5, we played against, let me double check. We went in, we're now knowing that we're out of contention for stuff. Round 5, we played cats. And yet again, when I said something was going to happen, it happened. I walked up to the opponent and I said, at least, I haven't played cats yet. At least I haven't played cats. We played cats. We played cats. Got miserably beat. Guy didn't even mulligan. I think he didn't. And just got her nuts kicked in. Guy just showed us literally, there's a picture, and I have it on Twitter, of just full board cats. The nastiest thing. And we just ate it. We just literally, we were on the play. We played an origami. We didn't get the free stock. Swung, triggered, dealt damage a little bit. And they just full catted us. Full on cat. Full board cat. And we ate 12. Now we're at level 1, whatever. And we weren't set up for a level 1 combo. So at least we have one. So we try one laning, just to generate some advantage. And he just doesn't eat damage. And now we're behind in the damage race. Now we're ahead in the damage. We were just kind of screwed. That's what cats does to us. And it was even funnier because if if you look up cats, um, we were able to assemble a 3 lane of our end combo. This game, he canceled the 2 big instances, and which that's kind of what happens most of the time, which was ridiculous. We thought he only had 1 in, he had 2 in. Um, I miscounted slightly, and yeah, cats. Yep. So we got hit by the combo of these two. And we actually, we weren't completely screwed against cats because we were able to clock send him. That doesn't matter. You just rescued him from the bin. Um, Now this list doesn't have it, but his top end, I believe, was a restander. I think. I think his top end was restanding. 8 bar. It's 8 bar cats. Hazard lane. Let's look it up. Make sure I'm telling things correctly. English, standard, Hazard, Hazard lane. Is it tournament? Or no, was it door? I think it was door. Maybe. I thought it was 8 bar. I might be wrong. Yeah, it was 8 bar. Do do do. Um, I think it was. I might be over familiarizing my brain here. It might have been Door. I could be wrong. Bushiroad Strength Fest. I mean, this would probably be. Oh no, it was. It was Door. It was Door. It wasn't eight. It wasn't eight bar. It was bar Door. Whoopsie. Whoopsie. Yeah, because he mochaed. This was the reason why how he got the game. We did get to anti-soul him after putting him close. Um the issue was that he had the was it her? Yeah, this one. He had the restander, which is the one that we neg sold off the rip in case if he wanted to decide for perfect damage off of the mochas, and he just did the cat thing again. He literally killed us with the cats again, which, that doesn't anger my soul whatsoever. Just playing a blink cat and then playing a bar and then swinging for two, doesn't anger my soul whatsoever. No, sir. No, sir. And then kill us for Xaxes because he knew what the top two cards were. No, 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 no. Doesn't anger me. Does not anger me. Does not anger me whatsoever. No, no, no. So, anyways, that was round five. Um, so now we're three L's into the hole, right? We're kind of just like, okay, well, it can kind of only go up from here, which it did. We then played Shauna Choice Door. Oh, God. Let's see if this would be right about it. Nope, that's eight door. Maybe? Maybe oh, maybe it was eight door. It might have been because I think he was on level one. What's the choice level one combo? Choice door. No, he was definitely on choice, but he was on the other door. Yeah, he was on the other door. It was choice door. Anyways, he had this top end. We neg sold him, stopped him. He didn't pay for the combo, so he didn't do the thing because he didn't have the cards to do the thing. Um, and we just neg sold him, and we won literally by the buzzer. We dealt damage to him off of refresh to kill him. So, that's pretty much the game. The opponent slow played. I think, I'm not going to say more. I'm just going to say he looked at his deck. You don't look at your deck while shuffling. I told him that. And you don't look at your opponent's deck while shuffling theirs. So, um, you just don't do that. That's making yourself look sus. I'm not going to say that he was cheating. I'm just going to say that that's what he was doing. He was looking at his deck, and that's sus. And I would avoid it. Like I said, I don't think he was. I will repeat this to death. I don't think he was cheating. I think he was just innocent, just being a dum dum. But you don't do that because it just there's an old saying my teacher used to have. Don't tie your shoes on a watermelon patch. Just don't tie your shoes on a watermelon patch. That's literally you asking to get shot because people are going to think you're stealing the watermelons. You don't want to tie your shoes in a watermelon patch. Don't look guilty if you're not guilty. It's the easiest thing to do. And why it could be innocent looking down on a deck while shuffling it. It insinuates that you're trying to look for something in it, which means that you actively are looking for something, potentially for markings in your cards or for what card you can see as it peaks up a little. I don't know. I don't try to do any of this. I just know you don't look at your deck It's just courtesy. It's pretty much just courtesy. You don't look at your deck because it can insinuate you're cheating. And it's one of those things that you can safely, like the hovering hand that Keanu Reeves does. He doesn't put his hands on girls. And it's for the same reasons he can never be insinuated to put his hands on girls if he doesn't put his hands on girls. Hovering hand, they never touch. It's always in visual of the camera that it's not on the girl, it's hovering. It's not touching her. So he never gets accused of stuff. It's the same kind of thing. You don't look at your deck, shuffle. You don't look down, shuffle, 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 and then look up and then pass it. And so I cut my deck after, that just to make sure for my own safety. I won that deck by the buzz. Um, also to the Ruby player, if the guy finds my channel, I actually am sorry for keep asking you to speed up. He was a really chill dude, but he was very very methodical with his gameplays, and the only point that I was kind of aggravated about it was when I went through my level 1 combo and he was going into his level 1 turn, level 1 combo kind of turn, or his level 1 setup turn. Just like, this part of the game should pretty much be default. I'm not doing anything too special here, and he didn't really interact with me that much. But I can still respect people trying to think and be complete in their thoughts and decisions. I'm sorry for rushing you though. Um, it's just I kept hearing in that match the Vanguard time. So I kept thinking we were closer, and I kept seeing the people next to us were like a full 2 levels ahead. And I'm going like, okay, I gotta put a little bit of pressure on this guy to speed it up a little bit because I don't want to get a double loss. Because if you go to time, double loss instantly a double loss. They were literally going to call that on the Shauna guy and me. But as the judge literally said, hi, right before the ME, we had decided, so we were good. So that was round 6. Round 6. Now I'm 3-3. Kind of feel like I got cucked by playing cats. Um, the other 2 losses are like, okay, they're close games, but it's sad. I'm out of it. It's just little wonky, and then we go into round 7. So this is the game where you try doing stuff, and yet again, another time, I actually honestly want to apologize to my opponent if he sees this. Genuinely, I feel like I came off as a bigger asshole than I was. Because the man was playing Quince. And if y'all haven't seen me, there's 2 things I really hate in Weiss. I hate playing cats because it never works. It's literally like almost literally like just you can't beat it. And it's not deck doesn't beat it. It's just like, what the hell do I do? My deck just turned into clock. I mean, I literally just took 12 damage off the rip. Like, the odds of that happening are low. The odds of all 8 climaxes in and you just eating 12 are not high. And yet that's what happened. So, you know, yet again, not saying any shade on that stuff. Not saying any shade on that. Like, that's just sometimes happens in Weiss. But ugh, and that happens every time I play cats, which is why it's annoying. And there's Quince. We played Quince 8 door. I know for a fact it was 8 door because it was waifu 8 door. Um, it's getting closer. No, let's run with this list for a moment. So if you don't know why I hate Quince, and my opponent agreed with me on this, Quince is basically Data Live without the bans and slightly better. Quince does its thing, or at least standby, 8 standby, right? So if we look at a modern 8 standby list, right? This is legal. Top end. Top end says, hey, pitch 2. Top end. Pay 1, pitch 1. Not even pitch 2, just pay 1, pitch 1. Oh my gosh. If your climax, blah, 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 you may pay the cost, deal 3. So that's like the biggest thing that Kurumi would do in a game, would push damage, and it was pitch 2, burn 3. The stock swap, also insane. I'm not going to deny that having the option between stock swap and this and a decompress is crazy. But in Modern Weiss, doing any one of those effects or doing a combination of them, I'm not going to say is correct. I'm not going to say is correct. Cheap burns after attacks having decent reach in a good amount of instances after that reach is crazy. The thing that's crazier about this card is, though, if the paired climax is in your climax combo, this isn't just a soul trigger. It gains standby as well. So you're not playing 8 standby like every other standby deck. No, 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 no. You're playing 12. That's the reason why I don't like it. That just pisses me off. That, the inherent typical good option is slightly more affordable. And they have this, and their level 1 doesn't even need to have a climax combo. They don't need to have a level 1 climax combo at 1 because they have stupider stuff going on. When your trigger check reveals a climax, choose one of your characters. That gets plus 3k. Notice how this says not another one, just a character. All of your characters with Nino in its name get, when this card attacks, look up the 2 cards, choose one among them, put it on top of your deck, so you get to fix your trigger, and whenever you trigger a climax, you get 3k, and then you get the standby, and that's not, it's not separate, and it can be given to something else. That all those abilities given to something else. So that leaves, other stuff to do, more things that are just stupid, and then having an expanded hand size. Keep in mind, Kurumi said discard 2 cards. This set just says, yeah, you can just get more cards in hand. There's I think it's the Brainstormer, right? Nope. One of these cards says they get an expanded hand size. Oh, this one. Right? Nope. I know it is a back row card. Maybe they're just not running it anymore. Because this isn't Itsuki. Itsuka. Anyway, there's just things that I don't like that is in this set that exist, and a strong level 2 combo, which also makes me extremely jealous. Against the following 2 abilities during the turn, gets plus 5k. That's a 13,000 power level 2 that you can stand by at 1. During your climax phase, the effect cost if you do stand this. So you also can just stand it at 1, which there's just words that are missing. It's a 2 soul that gets standed by out at level 1, that restands itself, and that becomes massive. Why? Why, Bushy? Like, it's just a stack of things in comparison to Data Life that just makes me jealous. I'm not gonna deny it. I'm just jealous. But I think the jealousy is fair when the deck is better, right? When the deck's better and your deck is very harshly banned. Anyways, that's my grudge against Quince. So when I play Quince, I get mad. I get salty because I'm playing Quince. It's like me playing cats. Except with the guy with cats, I literally called it. This is the time I didn't call it. And I tell the man this, so he's a little more understanding and sympathetic. But still, I'm sorry for being such an asshole. Anyways, this is one of those other games where I just got shot up way too early. I got shot up to 1 quick. I got shot up to 3 then. Well, I got shot up from 1 to 2, and at 2 I played my 1 game at a okay pace. But he was on an off choice pick, which isn't going to be in this list. That was actually really good call for another Quince meta. If we fork, we should be able to find it. I think maybe. I'm not a Quince guy. I like the anime, don't get me wrong, but gosh, color red. It's red, and it's a type character level 2, and it's an early play effect. It's able to be early played, not like just decidedly early played, off of standby. No, just early plays itself for full board conditions, which, I'm fine with one of those. Is this one it? Yep, this is the it. Experience. It gets bigger. It gets bigger in a deck that already wants experience at base with level 1. The first turn you're able to play this, or, well, you're not standbying out, but the point still stands. When you actually play this, it's a 9K at level 1. What the hell? That scales. It scales. It scales to be a 12K at level 2. And like, what the hell are you supposed to do to wall that? Like, okay, you're at level 1. You're not playing anti-early play hate for most of White Schwartz. You're not. And even if you are, you need the characters to be able to do it in the cards too, which before you've even, gotten to level 1 for the most part, you're not being able to do. And he swung with it first intelligently into an empty lane, so it had already done its damage. I did have the Yoshino. No, like, I'm not discarding 3 when I'm already behind in damage and on board. I need to rebuild my board to actually potentially beat this, which, in the choice bar list, not really possible. In the double soul list, very possible. You can beat this easy, but not in the choice bar list. On top of that, he had 2 level 1s that he didn't even have a level 1 combo. Because he was like, why even have a level 1 combo? There's girls that literally at level 1 just say when you use an axe, gain the equivalent of a level 1 combo. And I'm like, what the I'm mad. I am so mad just seeing it. Like, I feel like I'm getting disrespected, and that's just me being in my head to a degree, but like, that's what the deck does. That's kind of just how the set's built. I'm not gonna blame the player. I'm just gonna be mad at the fact that I have to play the deck. I have to play against this thing. And that's fine, the man wants to play it because it's a good deck. I respect that. But, I'm still gonna be absolutely furious as hell that I have to deal with it. Is it a 0? It's all Quinces. It's some sort of swinging level 1. It's not even a combo. I know it's not. I believe it is a 1 cost. Itsuka. Let's type in Itsuka. Just type in the Itsuki. Just simplify things. Card. Nope, not that one. Not this one. Wait, maybe? Nope, because the card gets big. It depends on axe. Table sharing, being honest, new story, Itsuki. Nope. Building. No, that's got combo. Mm-mm. Oh, wait. This might be it. This ability activates once per time when an act. This card attacks. Reveal the top card of your deck. If it's level 1 or higher, put it in the stock. Yep, it's this one. He was on 4 of this card. And it's like, you're generating stock. The card also gets big. His card gets plus 2K whenever you use an act. By the way, backups are acts, which is the reason why he likes the deck. And I can respect that. He went like, I want 1Ks to feel like 1Ks that actually matter in the game. Respect to the guy, it's just, ugh, I don't want to play this thing. I don't, and I just got crapped. The game just went SOL for me. I got sent up to 3 extremely early. I wasn't able to have a turn where I was stable on my footing. I just straight up soaked up damage. The only thing I made as an impact in the game was playing a Battle Stance Miku, having the empty board 4 damage stick, and then potentially being able to tri-lane the Lucifungus Queen the next turn to kill him. But I didn't live till the next turn. My top 20 cards were all just straight doublage with 8 climaxes in. It's like, you did what you could. You did what you could, lad. You did what you could. And what you could was nothing. So that was the situation all the way through. Um, there's probably still gonna be one more stream later tonight, hold on. But in the meantime, I'm gonna go get active for one of my classes, and this was kind of a little catch-up stream for y'all because I haven't been able to stream for you guys. I believe I messed up the one that was supposed to be last Friday. I was able to get the one on Tuesday because it was at the night, and yeah, so hopefully going forward we'll be able to air things out a little bit more. We'll be able to figure my schedule out, but things are about to change as my school semesters are coming to a close. And like I said, I just had 5 exams this Saturday, which nuts. Ugh. But yeah, hope you all have a good one. This is your boy Repreach, and I will see y'all in probably about an hour. I might be doing the stream late tonight, but we'll see.